You can't expect success without discipline. You can't pray for the promise but ignore the process. Everybody wants to shine, but not everybody wants to grind. See, discipline is not about rules. It's about training your mind to stay the course when your emotions want to quit. Your brain is like a muscle. You don't use it, you lose it. You can't let it just wander into laziness, temptation, and excuses. You've got to train it. You've got to tell it where to go, what to think, and how to act. You've got to teach it to ignore that "I don't feel like it" voice. When you train your brain for discipline, you stop living by how you feel and start living by what you know you need to do. That's when you stop chasing comfort and start chasing calling. Discipline is doing what's right when nobody's watching. It's sticking to the plan when distractions look more fun. It's saying no to the short term so you can say yes to the long term. Some of you are one disciplined season away from a completely different life. You've been praying for God to send blessings, but He's waiting for you to show Him you can handle them. And that proof is in your discipline. Master your mornings. Your mornings are the steering wheel of your day. If you start sloppy, you drive your day straight into chaos. But if you start sharp, focused, and intentional, you're telling the rest of the day, "I'm in control." A disciplined life begins with a disciplined morning. Most people wake up reacting, hitting snooze, checking their phone, scrolling through social media. That's like letting strangers decide how you feel before your feet even hit the floor. You've got to take ownership of that first hour. That's your training ground. When you master your mornings, you set the tone for the rest of your day. You send a message to your brain. We don't drift, we decide. And once your brain knows you mean business, it stops offering you so many lazy options. Winning the morning isn't about having the perfect routine. It's about having the right priorities. Maybe it's prayer. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's journaling or reading something that grows you. Whatever it is, it's got to be something that moves you forward, not keeps you stuck. Your brain loves patterns. If you train it to start slow, it'll drag all day. If you train it to start strong, it'll run with energy. That's why disciplined people have powerful mornings. They know it's not optional. It's the launch pad. You can't control every event in your day, but you can control how you show up to it. A disciplined morning is like putting on armor before the battle. Without it, you're vulnerable to every distraction, every mood swing, and every little frustration. Think about it. When you start your day intentionally, you make better decisions. You respond instead of react. You think long term instead of short term. You become proactive instead of being pulled around by whatever's urgent. Discipline in the morning builds momentum, and momentum is the most underrated success tool out there. Once you have it, everything feels easier, but you can't get it by accident. You've got to choose it. Some people say, "I'm not a morning person." That's just a story you've told yourself enough times to believe. You can train your brain to do anything. Start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier and putting that time to something productive. Then push it a little more. Your morning routine doesn't have to be long. It just has to be consistent. Even 20 minutes of reading, stretching, or quiet thinking can transform how you operate. The key is don't negotiate with yourself in the morning. Decide the night before. Training your brain for discipline in the morning is like tuning an instrument before the concert. If it's off, key at the start, nothing sounds right the rest of the day. Tune it right and you'll be in rhythm all day long. When you own your mornings, you stop running late for your own life. You start the day on your terms, not the world's. And once you experience that feeling of control, you'll never want to go back. The truth is, mornings are the easiest place to start building discipline because they happen every day and you can predict them. You don't have to wait for the right time. The right time is every sunrise you get. Discipline is like a muscle, and your morning is the daily workout. If you skip it, you weaken it. If you show up, you strengthen it. And when you strengthen your mornings, you strengthen your life. Control your focus, your brain will follow whatever you feed it. If you don't control your focus, distractions will control it for you. Discipline starts with directing your attention, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. We live in a world that's constantly screaming for your attention, notifications, messages, breaking news, endless scrolling. If you don't put up boundaries, your mind will be hijacked all day. That's why you've got to train your brain to choose what matters most. Focus is a choice, not a feeling. You won't feel like focusing most of the time. But if you make it a habit to block out distractions and zero in on one task at a time, your brain will get better at it. Just like a muscle gets stronger with training. Most people try to do 100 things at once and wonder why nothing gets finished. Multitasking isn't discipline, it's diluted effort. You've got to lock in one thing at a time and give it everything you've got. When you control your focus, you control your future. Because every big accomplishment is just the result of small, consistent, focused actions over time. Nobody builds something great by getting distracted every 5 minutes. One of the best ways to train your focus is to remove temptations before they start. Don't wait until you're in the middle of work to turn off notifications, do it before. Don't rely on willpower in the moment. Set up your environment for discipline. Your mind is like a flashlight wherever you point it. That's what lights up. If you shine it on your problems all day, that's all you'll see. If you shine it on your goals, your ideas, your solutions, that's what grows. Most people lose discipline not because they're lazy, but because they're distracted. If you keep feeding your mind junk information, you'll keep producing junk results. You've got to feed it what builds you. The more you practice controlling your focus, the more mental stamina you build. And mental stamina is what carries you when motivation fades. Motivation will get you started, but focus will keep you going. Think about an athlete in the middle of a game. They don't think about what they're eating for dinner or what's trending online. They're fully locked in. That's the kind of tunnel vision you need when you're chasing something important. When you control your focus, you stop being busy and start being effective. And effectiveness is what discipline is all about, not just doing more, but doing what matters. Your brain can't tell the difference between something urgent and something important unless you train it. That's why most people spend their days reacting to emergencies instead of building something lasting. You've got to teach your brain to spot the difference. If you master focus, everything else in discipline becomes easier. Because discipline without focus is just aimless effort. But discipline with focus is a laser. It cuts through excuses, distractions, and fear. Every day, you've got a choice. Let the world decide what gets your attention or take control of it. Only one of those leads to a disciplined, successful life. Delay the reward discipline is built in the gap between desire and gratification. Most people lose in that gap because they want it now, they want it quick, they want it easy. But the strongest people are the ones who can wait. Waiting doesn't weaken you, it strengthens you. When you learn to delay the reward, you're telling your brain, we're not chasing crumbs when there's a feast coming. You stop trading the big picture for quick pleasures. That's how you build a life, not just moments. Every time you hold back from instant gratification, you're rewiring your brain. You're teaching it that the future matters more than the moment. That's what separates people who keep starting over from people who keep leveling up. We live in a now culture, fast food, same day delivery, instant likes. And while that's convenient, it's also dangerous for your discipline. Because your brain starts expecting everything to come quickly, and the moment it doesn't, you quit. Delaying the reward is like telling your brain to sit still when it's itching to run. At first, it's uncomfortable. You'll feel restless, you'll crave shortcuts, you'll want to give in. But if you push through that discomfort, you build patience. Patience isn't passive, it's power under control. It's the strength to keep showing up even when the results aren't here yet. That's the heart of discipline, doing the work without needing the applause right away. Every great achievement you admire was built on delayed reward. Athletes train for years before they see a championship. Entrepreneurs work late nights for months before they see profit. Parents sacrifice daily before they see the results in their kids' lives. When you learn to delay the reward, you're no longer a slave to your urges. You're not running after every shiny thing. You're building something that lasts. You're training your brain to think long term. The beautiful thing about delayed reward is that it compounds. The longer you hold out, the bigger the payoff. But you'll never know that if you keep cashing out early. That's why discipline and patience always walk together. You can practice this in small ways. Wait an extra week before buying that thing you want. Push through 5 more minutes of exercise when you want to quit. Finish the chapter before checking your phone. These small wins train you for the big ones. The more you practice delaying rewards, the less tempted you'll be by quick distractions. Your brain will start valuing the process over the rush, and that's when you become unstoppable. People will call you obsessive or too strict, but they won't understand you're protecting your vision. You know the price you're paying is worth the future you're building. You don't get a strong body, a healthy bank account, or a successful life by taking the shortcut. You get it by showing your brain that waiting is worth it, that sacrifice is worth it. The truth is, the reward is sweeter when you've waited for it. It's more meaningful because you've earned it, not grabbed it. And that's the kind of victory discipline is made for. Guard your mind from junk. Your brain is the most valuable real estate you own, but most people let anybody dump their trash in it. If you're not careful about what you allow into your mind, you'll start living out other people's fears, doubts, and negativity without even realizing it. Guarding your mind isn't about avoiding reality, it's about controlling the influence. If your mind is a garden, you can't let weeds grow unchecked. The seeds you plant and the weeds you pull determine what grows. Every piece of content you consume, every conversation you have, every environment you step into is shaping your thinking. And your thinking shapes your decisions. That's why discipline starts with mental protection. If you're filling your brain with gossip, drama, and noise, you can't expect it to produce clarity, focus, and wisdom. Just like your body can't be healthy on junk food, your mind can't be healthy on junk thoughts. Guarding your mind means setting limits on what you watch, who you listen to, and how much negativity you expose yourself to. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Sometimes discipline means cutting off access to people who constantly dump problems but never look for solutions. It means walking away from environments that drain you instead of build you. The more junk you allow in, the harder it is to stay disciplined, because discipline needs a clear mind. It needs a mental space that's focused, energized, and aligned with your goals. Think about it, you can't train your brain for focus if you're letting random noise run wild inside it. You've got to protect it like it's priceless, because it is. When you guard your mind, you stop living by default and start living by design. You choose what gets in, and you choose what gets thrown out. That's mental discipline. You can practice this daily. Replace 1 hour of scrolling with an hour of learning. Swap one negative conversation with a positive one. Trade one meaningless video for something that inspires or educates you. Over time, you'll notice your thoughts getting sharper. Your ideas will come quicker. Your decisions will feel clearer. That's the payoff of guarding your mind. You give it the space to grow strong. Some people will think you're being extreme, but they don't understand that your brain is your engine. You wouldn't pour sugar in your gas tank and expect your car to run. Don't pour mental junk into your mind and expect discipline to work. When you train your brain to reject the junk, you make space for the gold. And once you see what a clear mind can do, you'll never go back to letting just anything in. Turn small wins into big victories. Discipline is not built in big leaps. It's built in small, repeated steps. Most people think they have to make a huge change overnight, but the truth is, small wins stack up until they become something unstoppable. When you start seeing small wins as fuel instead of just little things, you build momentum. And momentum is what turns discipline from a chore into a lifestyle. A small win might be choosing water over soda. It might be reading 10 pages instead of watching TV. It might be putting your phone in another room for an hour to get work done. These don't seem huge, but they add up. Your brain loves progress. Every small win sends it a message. We're moving forward. And when it sees progress, it wants to keep going. That's how you build consistency. The problem is, people dismiss small wins because they don't see immediate results. But if you stick with them, they multiply. Small wins create habits, and habits create the disciplined life you're looking for. When you celebrate the small win, you teach your brain to value effort, not just outcomes. That's important because there will be seasons when results take longer to show. Discipline is like a staircase. You can't jump to the top. You've got to climb one step at a time. Each step is a small win, and every step matters. When you ignore small wins, you rob yourself of encouragement. But when you notice them, you stay motivated, and motivated people stick with the process long enough to see big victories. You can't train for a marathon in a day, but you can run a little farther each week. You can't save $10, zero overnight, but you can start with $10. Every big win you want starts as a small one you respect. The beautiful thing about small wins is that they build confidence. They show you that you can follow through, and confidence is one of the greatest tools for discipline. Small wins also prepare you for bigger challenges. If you can keep a daily habit going for a month, you've built the muscle to handle a bigger goal without giving up. The more small wins you rack up, the more you start thinking, if I can do this, I can do the next thing. That's the snowball effect of discipline. People looking for one big breakthrough often miss the fact that discipline is the breakthrough. And it's built by stacking small victories until you wake up one day and realize you've become the person you were trying to be. Be consistent. Not perfect. Perfection is a trap. It'll have you waiting for the right time, the perfect plan, or the flawless routine. And while you're waiting, life keeps moving. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about showing up, even when it's messy, even when it's hard. Consistency beats perfection every single time. The person who shows up every day, even at 70% effort, will always outlast the person who shows up once in a while at 100%. That's because habits are built through repetition, not rare moments of greatness. Your brain learns discipline through patterns, not through rare events. If you keep doing the thing day after day, your brain stops negotiating with you. It just accepts. This is what we do. Perfection will have you quitting the moment you mess up, but consistency will have you saying, okay, I stumbled, but I'm still in the game. That's how discipline survives, by refusing to stop. When you focus on being perfect, you set yourself up for disappointment. But when you focus on being consistent, you set yourself up for progress. And progress is what builds confidence. Think about it. If you miss one workout, one study session, or one early morning, it doesn't ruin you. What ruins you is letting one miss turn into a month of misses. Discipline says, we keep moving. You don't have to do it all at once. You just have to keep doing something. And over time, that something compounds into results you couldn't imagine at the start. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're proving you can rely on you. And when you trust yourself, discipline stops feeling forced, it becomes who you are. The most disciplined people aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who don't let failure stop them. They get back up. They try again. They keep moving forward, even if it's one slow step at a time. When you train your brain for consistency, you teach it that missing is not the same as quitting. That's a powerful lesson because it keeps you from throwing away all your progress just because you had a bad day. Some days you'll feel strong, some days you won't, but discipline is about showing up regardless of how you feel. Feelings fade, but consistency compounds. The truth is, people who wait for perfection never get started. But people who start, even imperfectly, create momentum that perfection can never match. Consistency is not glamorous, but it's magical. It turns average effort into extraordinary results. It turns scattered dreams into tangible realities. If you make consistency your priority, discipline will follow naturally. And when discipline becomes natural, success becomes inevitable. Let your vision lead, not your feelings. Feelings are unreliable. They change with the weather, with the mood, with what someone said to you. If you live by your feelings, you'll be up one day and down the next, never building the discipline to keep moving forward. Your vision is your anchor. It's the picture of where you're going, and it's got to be stronger than whatever temporary emotion you're feeling. Because there will be days you don't feel like it, and that's when your vision has to take over. Discipline grows when you train your brain to act according to your vision, not your emotions. That's how you keep going when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when it's inconvenient. If you keep letting feelings drive, you'll keep quitting when it gets uncomfortable. But if you let your vision drive, you'll push through discomfort because you know what's waiting on the other side. Your brain needs a target. Without one, it drifts. Your vision is that target. It reminds you why you're saying no to distractions and yes to the grind. Feelings are temporary. Your vision is permanent if you protect it. And protecting it means feeding it daily, keeping it in front of you, and refusing to let it be drowned out by temporary moods. When you live by your vision, your discipline has a purpose. You're not just avoiding bad habits. You're building something that matters to you. That's why people with vision have more discipline. They know what's at stake. There will be moments your feelings tell you to quit. Your vision has to say, not yet. Your vision has to remind you that the pain is temporary, but the payoff is forever. This is why you can't build discipline without a clear why. If you don't know why you're doing it, it's too easy to stop when it gets hard. Your vision gives you that why. Your brain follows the story you tell it. If you tell it a story of I can't, you'll believe it. If you tell it a story of this is where I'm going, no matter what, it'll find a way to get there. The more you connect your actions to your vision, the less discipline feels like punishment, and the more it feels like purpose. You're not just waking up early, you're waking up for something. You're not just saying no to distractions, you're saying yes to your future. People who live by feelings spend their life starting over. People who live by vision keep building until they finish what they started. Your vision is the trainer for your brain. It keeps you in line when your emotions want to wander. It gives you clarity when confusion sets in. If you let your vision lead every choice, discipline won't be a struggle, it'll be a natural response. And when that happens, nothing and nobody can pull you off your path. Discipline is not a gift, it's a decision. Nobody is born with it. We build it day by day, choice by choice. You've got the power to train your brain into becoming your greatest ally instead of your biggest enemy. But you've got to decide right now that comfort will no longer be your ruler. Every great life is built on the foundation of discipline. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the winners, the people who talk about change from the people who make it happen. You can't keep praying for a breakthrough while living by your feelings. You can't keep asking for more while doing less. You can't keep wishing for success while feeding your brain excuses. The life you want isn't waiting on luck, it's waiting on you to train your mind, control your actions, and show up whether you feel like it or not. That's discipline. That's how you get the respect you want, the freedom you want, the future you want. There will be days you're tired, days you're discouraged, days you wonder if it's worth it. Those are the days your discipline will speak louder than your doubt. Those are the days you push, not because you feel like it, but because you know you're building something that matters. Your brain will try to talk you out of hard work. It'll whisper that it's okay to quit, that you can start tomorrow. But every time you choose to push past that voice, you're building a new one, a stronger, sharper, more unstoppable you. Don't just let your brain wander into laziness, distraction, and excuses. Grab the reins, train it, tell it where to go, what to focus on, and how to show up. Teach it to choose vision over feelings, purpose over pleasure, and progress over procrastination. One day, you'll look back and realize you became the kind of person people admire, not because you were perfect, not because it was easy, but because you trained your brain to stay locked in when the rest of the world was drifting. And when that day comes, you'll know that the real victory wasn't just in the goals you hit, but in the person you became while chasing them. That's the reward discipline gives you: a life you can be proud of, a mind you can trust, and a future you created with your own two hands. So don't wait another moment. Start now. Train your brain for discipline, and you'll train your life for greatness.